Hello everyone. I've not been playing Genshin for some days now. Today we are gonna get into Genshin, and so let's see what's new. I've been playing a lot of Wuthering Waves, by the way. So you can go on my channel and check out some content over there. So today we are gonna get into Genshin. I've still not done the Clorinde story quest, so we are gonna do that as well. So stay tuned. So let's go. First of all, I think we should get the dailies out of the way. Oh, why are you gonna ask me questions, man? Okay, it's been a long time since I answered this guy. Depending on how you. Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Ask away, ask away. Confident, yeah. Okay, okay, let's go. Where's Lisa? Yeah, well, who's gonna forget Lisa, huh? And if you're a remember, sure, yep. What is this? She's the librarian. She is the librarian. Yep. Question. Impressions. Official title. Knights of Harmonious. What is Mr. Kai's official title in the Knights of Harmonious? I think he's a captain. I think he's a cavalry captain, knight captain. I think he's a cavalry captain or a knight captain. I don't really remember this one. So let's try cavalry captain. Oh, there you go. I remember. I do remember. It was good luck, I guess. Now for my last question. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sure the question was most December. Okay. What is the official title of Nine Points? I think she's Outrider. Yep. I think she's an Outrider. Yep. I was right. Okay. Okay. Was this a daily quest or what?
Welcome to Mondstadt.
Oh, this was a daily quest. Or was it? I don't really know. It's been a long time since I've been to Mondstadt.
Ad Astra
Recently,
Abyssos.
just recently, I've
Welcome to
added,
the Adventurers
for the
Guild.
daily quests, I've come back to Mondstadt. I almost forgot everything about Mondstadt. There you go. Okay.
I am sorry.
Oh, it was one of the daily quests. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. So now in the gameplay, what's going on with my gameplay is that I've been playing a lot of Wuthering games. So the sprinting and stuff, the in Wuthering Waves it doesn't really use stamina and
This is
stuff.
order.
So I've gotten used to it, and now I can't even I always deplete my stamina in this and Genshin. It's a much better mechanics in the Wuthering Waves.
Be sanctified.
So
Settle down.
let me run around freely, man. Something to look forward to, Mihoyo. Stop wasting water. Okay, what's the next one? Here you go. see, you see. Before I used to run in dashes, run dash, like this, like this. But now, since I've been playing Withering Waves,
Quake!
man, this is not
I will
fair.
have order.
I think I've forgotten how to play Genshin. Here you go.
Solidify!
There is no escape. Transfixed.
There you go. By the way, people are, like conflicted on this. One is on, everyone is either on one side or the other. I mean, like some people are on Wuthering Waves, and somebody, hate Genshin, have started to hate Genshin. They used to love it, but as far as I'm concerned, I think more games the better, man. Just enjoy it. What's there to conflict? So the more the matter. I love them both. I love them both. So yeah, can't complain. I mean, both of them have their own good sides and bad sides. Everything, can't be
Silence!
perfect. Nothing can be perfect. So yeah, there you go. Okay, what's the next one? These are gonna be those from uh, Cairo, Cairo cities, I guess.
Snow is in
Slimes.
fact one of water's natural
The
self-cleansing
cryo
mechanisms.
ones. The cryo
But
ones.
human activity tends to reduce.
Man, I'm really forgetting those names as well now. I've been playing too much Wuthering Waves. Yep. Cryo slimes.
Gather!
Overruled. Yeah.
Did you see that damage? Okay, I think I'm done with those and the daily quest. Let's go collect this and then we can move on to the Clorinde story quest.
Ad Astra Abyssal. Thank you for completing today's commissions. Here is your reward. Ad Astra Abyssal.
Let's also collect these while we are here. Okay, dispatch them once again. Go collect materials for me. And while we are here, let's collect these as well. I do this on daily basis. I do this on daily basis because it's always handy to have this on hand. Whenever you need to upgrade new weapons and stuff. So I always do this on daily basis. What else is there to do in Genshin? So not enough content. Anyway, so yeah, gotta do something at least. So there you go. You can do this like 6 times a day. So that's gonna be the daily limit. So let's get to this. Let's go to Fontaine.
Something you wish to report? Go on.
Huh? Do you also see Navia and Clorinde over there? They look like they might have run into some kind of trouble. Let's go check out what's going on.
I'm gonna keep mostly quiet now.
Still no dice?
Not at all. And I've asked pretty much everyone in the court of Fontaine already. Lynette's ears drooped as soon as she heard that we'd have to be out and about for days on end. And Fremine, he hid himself under his helmet as soon as he realized there'd be people around that he didn't know.
What about Chiori and Charlotte? I feel like both of them would be more than up to it.
I've asked them already, but they're both pretty busy right now. I just gave the members of the Spina a few days off, too, so I don't want to bother them either.
This is getting pretty difficult.
Navia, Clorinde, what's up?
Oh my. Well, if it isn't my dear partners. How are you all doing?
Huh. Navia?
Huh? Oh, you mean...
Yep, this is our chance.
Do you need our help with something?
Oh, precisely. My dear partners, we've got a huge problem right now that only you can solve.
Whoa, for real?
Absolutely. We've already exhausted all our other options.
Traveler, Paimon, would you join us and play Marechaussee?
Marechaussee what now?
It's a new game script by the Tabletop Troupe, a local roleplay adventure club.
Ever heard of the Tabletop Troupe? They put out games that allow you to participate in a story and roleplay characters with your friends.
That sounds super interesting.
Clorinde and I are both veteran members of the club. Recently, someone came up with a new script and was looking for people to help playtest it for them. And when they asked, of course I couldn't refuse. I mean, come on! A brand new script?
Generally speaking, scripts at that level of development have a lot of issues, but I think this one is pretty solid. The author obviously put a lot of work into the story, and the world building is also quite credible.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I know I was the one that handed you the script, but some of us haven't read it yet. No spoilers, please.
Anyway, the script calls for a team of 4. Ah, yes. We're missing one final player right now.
So, you're saying you'll help us out? I knew I could count on you, partner.
Paimon and the Traveler are kind of a package deal. Is that okay?
That's not a problem. I'll adjust the pace based on the actual number of players, and ensure that everyone has a good time.
Well, Traveler, what do you think? Wanna play? Paimon will...
Well, that solves our problem.
Woohoo! I'll go grab the script manager.
The script manager? Didn't you just say that you gave Clorinde the script?
So I think I've been pronouncing the name Clorinde just wrong, so it's Clorinde. So there you go. Sorry about that.
The club introduced a completely new kind of gameplay for this script. In this iteration, the Game Master's version of the script is incomplete. The script manager provides the next part of the script only after players have completed the current list of objectives. On top of that, in order to increase player immersion, the club has created some of the story's sets and scenes in real life. We'll only know where we should go once the script manager reveals the starting location.
Wow, you're right. Whoever wrote this script really did put in a lot of work.
And it's got a real healthy amount of suspense, right? I mean, even the GM doesn't know how the story will end.
I look forward to experiencing it with you all.
Why don't you go meet up with the others first? They should all be waiting at Chioria Boutique. I'll come over with the script manager as soon as I find them.
Sounds good. Remember to always watch where you're going, and don't rush.
You say that like I'm 6 years old or something. Let me think. What kind of character should I play this time?
I just hope you'll pick up some useful skills this time. Oh, and stop trying to persuade every animal you come across. Sorry to keep you waiting.
You're back! Huh? And you've got the Traveler and Paimon with you, too!
What a pleasant surprise. I assume you'll be joining us for the game then?
Linny, Farina! Paimon didn't know you were playing too! Are you also members of the tabletop troupe?
I'm more of a casual member, if anything. I haven't taken part in many formal club activities. Lynette Fremine and I play something similar at the Hotel Bouffe Tété sometimes, but I'm usually the GM. Still, I'm sure it'll be fun being a player for the first time. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm not a member of the club at all. Clorinde simply woke me up first thing this morning, said there was a good script worth it.
If you're interested, I can give you a referral. That should give you a 40% discount on membership.
I think I'll wait to see how this experience plays out first. Especially—
Do you participate in a lot of tabletop troupe activities, Clorinde?
You could say that. She's actually one of the few senior game masters of the troupe.
Right. I knew about that even when she was still my subordinate.
It's nothing. Really, just a small hobby of mine.
Wow. Hyman's so used to seeing you be all upstanding and intimidating as the champion duelist. It's kind of hard to imagine you role-playing with a bunch of friends.
Surely you jest. I would never intentionally make things difficult for my— I maintain a clear boundary between my professional and personal lives. The me you see at court represents the law and order of Fontaine. I put all personal feelings to the side, and grant a fair duel to all who seek to defend their honor. But in my personal life, I'm just an ordinary person. Someone who feels anger and sadness, just like everyone else.
Well, you say that, but for all the time I've known you, I don't think I've ever seen you cry. I've seen you get angry, sure, but now I'm wondering whether you were actually mad or if it just looked that way from the outside.
I was probably in work mode during those times.
Is that so? Well, in any case, I just feel like even in your personal life, you don't get emotional very often.
So you want to see me cry? That might be a little difficult. A show of—
No, that's—
I'm back! Here, allow me to introduce you to the script manager, Mr. Florian.
Pleasure to meet you all.
Hello? Wait.
Oh, no. This is just the costume provided by the club. I occasionally play a few of the roles in my scripts.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It's nothing. It's the least we can do to give the Anyway, allow me to give you a brief introduction of the script. This script was adapted from the real history of the Marushose hunters. You all will play the role of hunters from a bygone era and resolve a series of events unfolding in the capital.
Paimon's not super familiar with the the history of the Marashose Hunters.
Oh, no problem at all. I can give you a brief rundown. So, basically, Marashose Hunters were people who dedicated themselves to hunting monsters and protecting the city by using a special swordsmanship technique passed down over generations. Their story can be traced back to the ancient Remurian dynasty, as well as the first hunter, Cassiodor. But I'll leave the finer details for you to seek out and discover later.
Mm-hmm. And I'll provide additional commentary as the story progresses.
In that case, brave hunters, are you ready to set out on an unknown adventure?
Whoa, just one sentence and it's like we're in the story already!
Aha, I see many a determined gaze before me. Very well, head over to this location and begin your heroic journey.
So, as we follow the story, it leads us to specific scenes? Ooh, sounds pretty innovative. What does the message in the envelope say?
It's the exact location of the scene, as well as the formal permission to use the venue. Huh, seems like they have everything prepared. Please check all your belongings, everyone, and make sure you haven't forgotten anything.
Sounds good! Hunter Squad, move out!
I heard from the grapevine that Chioria Boutique just got. Welcome to Chioria Boutique. For tailoring services, please make a reservation in advance.
I'm already putting in my...
Solidify!
Illusion shattered! Whoa, they really have thought of everything. Even the Fatometer is here and ready to go for us.
The Fatometer.
It's a card that's used to determine action.
And what about all the dessert and tea? Is that for us as well?
That's what the message said.
Really? That's so nice. It feels...
Those snacks have Paimon's name written all over them!
I think you might be more of a snack hunter than a Marashose hunter, Paimon.
Snack Hunter Paimon reported for duty! If there are delicious snacks to be found, Paimon will try...
The desserts are great. But I'm still looking forward to the story more than anything.
Very fair. Then, let us begin. First, please pick up the blank character cards in front of you, and write down your name and profession. You can find an abbreviated version of the rules printed on the back of your character card. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. In this story, everyone is a Marashose hunter. To reflect this, the club has prepared a small badge for everyone.
Ooh, nice!
As hunters, you have proficiency in swordsmanship and fighting by default, so there's no need to allocate any additional skill points to those areas.
Swordsmanship? So there's a fighting part to all of this? Paimon's not sure she can do all that on her own. Maybe Paimon can just stick with you?
Why don't you share a character card then? The Traveler will be the Marachose Hunter, and you can be his little floating assistant.
Huh. Kinda like in real life.
So, for the name, do I fill it out with the name of my character?
Yep. It can be any name you like.
You can use your real name too if you want. I do that whenever I get too lazy to think of it.
Oh, so it would be like experiencing a different life. But
In that case, I think I'll continue to use the name Linny then.
Next up is the skill sheet. You have a limited amount of skill points that you can use to learn a number of skills. The more points you invest in a particular skill, the easier it will be to pass associated checks.
I'll take persuasion and investigation. Those are must-haves when it comes to missions like these.
Oh, those skills sound like they'd be useful for gathering intelligence. Good idea, Navia. Just as a...
So, should we also take those skills then?
Not necessarily. Since we're working together as a team, we could leave the negotiations to Navia and use our skill points to pick up other useful skills. For example, I think I'll take stealth and sleight of hand. That will give us more options if we run into any situations we can't
Oh, interesting. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I suppose it's not so different from an acting troupe. Everyone, let me see. I'll take arts and performance. I'm not quite sure what use they'll be, but I'm not as knowledgeable about the other skill.
Well, that leaves us. What do you want to learn, Traveler?
I think I'm gonna go with it. Sorry.
Oh, something that'll help you get a read on other people's thoughts. Sounds useful.
And cooking, I guess, then?
Ha! Gotta say, this suits you really
Gotta
well.
feed
Nothing
Paimon.
boosts morale like good food. So what do you think? Are you sure you want to learn these two skills?
Yep, I'm sure.
Let's see. Oh, looks like you each have enough points to choose one final skill.
You've all picked such classic skills. It's fine to go a little bit out of the box, you know.
Why do I get the feeling she's getting ready to cause trouble?
For example, this one here. Summon. Doesn't it sound super mysterious and cool?
Oh, I saw that one just now as well. The description says, this skill can be used under certain circumstances to summon characters or creatures that fit the script's world-building rules.
The script's world-building rules, huh? But how are we supposed to know what a Marachose Hunter can summon?
Oh, that's not for us to worry about, my friend. Just learn the skills that interest you, and the GM will take care of the rest.
All right, you've convinced Paimon. Let's learn summon then. Paimon can't wait to see what kind of thing shows up.
Well, now that everyone's more or less finished creating their characters, we can begin. Since two of our players are doing this for the first time, though, let me ask. Would you like to play on easy mode or authentic mode?
What's the difference between the two?
Well, in role-playing games, the story sometimes changes based on the decisions of the players and the results of the Fatometer.
Sounds interesting.
For example, if you fail a check, that means you cannot use the target skill in that scenario. A critical failure may even result in further negative consequences. If you choose to play in authentic mode, every time you elect to use a skill, you'll need to use the Fatometer to see whether you succeed or fail, and face any consequences that may follow. If you choose easy mode instead, Every check will be successful by default, and you won't have to worry about luck playing a factor.
The random checks triggered by the chronometer. Whatever. Let's just get to it and see what's gonna happen. There's role playing and the scene so you can come to the
Given that I'd like to focus on the story, I suppose I should pick easy mode. I'd feel bad if I brought the team down by failing my checks.
Huh? Oh, come on. Don't worry about that. RNG is the lifeblood of role-playing games. I'm going with authentic mode for sure. Never knowing what you might have to overcome.
I'd rather be mentally...
All right, then I'll mark down Farina for easy mode. All her checks will be successful by default. As usual, Navia and Linny will play on authentic mode.
What about you, dear partner? How would you like to play?
I'm gonna go authentic mode.
Are you sure?
I don't know. Yep, let's do it.
Trust me, you'll see the beauty of RNG. Honestly, I don't think Clorinde would make things too difficult for us, no matter what.
No promises.
That wasn't...
Well, anyway, enough talk. Let's get started. I want to experience at least a good chunk of this.
Speaking of the story, why is the beginning scene on...
Well, that's because, a long time ago, back when human civilization was still in its infancy, powerful demons and evil sorcerers ruled over the land. They created a host of monsters and sent them to slaughter all humans in existence. Soon, a group of human rebels banded together. With their swords raised, they swore to brave the darkness, and in doing so, subdue each and every monster that sought their destruction. They became known as the Marachose Hunters.
Okay, now what?
Sometime later, as a member of the Marachose Hunters, you receive a commission. Following the address provided on the message, you take a boat and arrive at this strange city. As you inhale, you can taste the slightly salty air of the docks as you begin to survey your surroundings. There aren't many people in the vicinity, but you do take note of a few others who, like you, seem to be sizing up this place. Your eyes meet, and you realize these people are fellow Marachose hunters, likely led to this location after receiving the same—
You're all Marachose hunters too, right? Allow me to introduce myself. The name's Navia, monster hunter by trade, and helpful neighborhood businesswoman on— What say you to traveling together? We can help each other out on the road.
Okay, count me in. My name is Linny. I've been wandering since I was little and picked up a few less than legal tricks along the way. I was adopted by a Marachose hunter and later chose to follow in his footsteps.
I am Mani. I have been playing Genshin since 2001, and this is shitty.
Is this where you introduce your character to everyone? My name is Farina, and, I grew up in a noble family. I always had a strong interest in performance and the arts. Even though I'm a Marchese hunter, what I really want is to be a performing artiste.
Hey, that's really cool. You can do it, Farina. That's exactly how it's done.
Paimon is Paimon, a good friend and companion to this Marachose hunter right here.
I've been studying the culinary arts since I was a child. I hope my delicious food can help boost people's spirits.
That's wonderful. I'll be looking forward to your cooking during our adventures together.
Well, if we're all here for the same commission, why don't we take some time to confirm what we need to do?
You open your envelopes at the same time. The message reads, "To the honorable and trustworthy Marachose hunters, our kingdom is currently facing a grave crisis. The lands outside the capital have been overtaken by monsters, and our people are being led astray by forces of wickedness. We beseech you, please help us resolve this crisis and return peace and stability to our home."
Huh. The layout of this city looks super familiar. It kinda reminds Paimon of Mondstadt!
The scriptwriter must have used a real-world city as a reference when coming up with the map.
As experienced hunters, the layout of the city reminds you of places once traveled. You recall the sight of tree-lined streets and the gentle tranquility of days gone by. Yet, as you regard the city in front of you, it appears to be little more than an empty shell. Its hollow gates are open to you, beckoning you to come forth and bring salvation back to the town.
I carefully read every line of the letter and turn my attention to the signatures at the bottom. Who issued this commission to us?
You see a long string of unfamiliar names. It would seem that many of the residents of the city issued this commission together.
In that case, why don't we take a walk around the city and see if we can learn anything from the local residents?
Oh, good idea. We might be able to get some leads on the monsters and bad guys we're after.
You look up and see a tavern nearby. It appears to be open for the day.
Why don't we go check out that tavern? If the novels I've read are anything to go by, taverns are usually full of information.
As you approach the tavern, you find a plainly dressed woman standing nearby. She appears to be rather troubled about something.
Greetings, friend. Lovely weather we're having today, don't you think?
Oh, hello. I suppose you're right. The weather today is quite lovely. If only those monsters out there would stop causing trouble.
It seems like every character included in the script has a certain amount of useful information to offer. If we keep asking questions, we might be able to get some good leads.
Oh, come now, don't be sad. Life is all about optimism. Oh, that reminds me. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Huh?
I don't think that's the kind of question we're supposed to ask.
Nothing turns a frown upside down like good food. How about some macarons? I could make you some.
You didn't even take cooking as one of your skill proficiencies.
That's not necessary, miss. Excuse me for saying this, but you don't really look like a chef. Besides, I'm not really a fan of sweets.
So you're someone who barely smiles and doesn't like sweets. You're really starting to remind me of this one friend of mine. Hey! Did she just... me?
Clorinde must have broke character for a second.
This isn't getting us anywhere. Traveler, maybe...
Okay. Right now, I'd like to check to see what's trouble.
The results of insight checks aren't disclosed to the players, so I'll be the one consulting the phaetometer. You recall all the lessons you've learned in your time and begin to carefully observe the woman's mannerisms. You notice that when she's quiet, she has an empty look in her eyes, as if her thoughts have drifted to a place far, far away. And when she speaks, she often subconsciously reaches out to touch the ring on her left hand. So you noticed. That's a little embarrassing. A horde of monsters suddenly appeared near the capital recently, so all the guards were dispatched to fight them.
Do you remember when those monsters appeared?
I'm not completely sure. All I know is that my husband was dispatched to fight them 3 days ago.
Do you know where he was sent?
It all happened so fast. When we said our goodbyes, he couldn't even tell me where they were sending him.
You have our thanks, friend. We'll find and defeat those monsters as soon as possible. We sincerely hope your husband will be able to return to your side soon.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry. We'll find him. Just try to remain optimistic and wait for good news. We don't always get to choose what happens to us. But we do get to choose the little things, like what we eat and how we respond to the things life throws our way. I hope that one day, you too will recognize the power of something as small and inconsequential as a delicious dessert.
I'll do my best. You bid farewell to the woman, and continue your journey further into the city. As you venture further into the city, the streets appear largely empty. An elderly woman walks past. You see her shake her head as she puts away her wrinkled wallet. A nearby merchant folds his arms and gives you a disdainful look. You get the impression that he's someone who has long gotten used to the sight before him.
Although he doesn't seem very friendly.
Pardon me, sir. I'd like to ask a question if I'm...
That depends. How much are you willing to pay?
How about this much?
What do you take me for? Some lowly beggar? You can't even buy half an onion with that amount.
Surely an onion can't be that expensive.
What do you know? War's nearly upon us. Everything costs several times what it did before. If you're not gonna buy anything, then scram.
Whoa, what a nasty guy. Maybe we shouldn't even bother talking to him.
But he still might have information we need. Traveler, can you think of something?
Okay, while everyone is talking, I secretly use my magic props to summon a bottle of wine without the merchant noticing. We meant no offense, sir. Here, allow me to offer you this bottle of vintage wine, made only from the finest grapes. I'll just leave it here. Please, enjoy... I should mention that this wine is the perfect accompaniment to a meal. I'd suggest enjoying it with dinner.
All right. Go on and ask. What do you want to know?
Do you have any information on the monsters, or the crisis that it...
Crisis? If you ask me, there's a crisis everywhere you look. Those monsters are camped outside the city, and they've been destroying all our trade routes. We have limited reserves within the city, so if this continues, we're all gonna be in big trouble.
Wait, you're saying no one has put a plan in place to distribute supplies or maintain order?
We could all starve and those nobles in the palace wouldn't even break a sweat. Who knows? Maybe they've been in cahoots with the monsters all along.
That is concerning. Thank you, sir. We won't take up any more of your time now.
Hey, why did you leave in such a hurry?
Well, you see, that bottle of wine was just a cardboard.
Should we try to go somewhere with more people?
Oh,
There's
how
Lenny
about
for
the
you.
city square? Follow me.
Before you lies the city's central square. You see a man with a slightly anxious look on his face, pacing back and forth, his head hanging low. He doesn't seem to notice your approach. Still immersed in his own thoughts, he shakes his head and lets out a long sigh.
This guy seems promising enough. Maybe I can get some information out of him.
No, you're not gonna get anything out of me.
Hello, sir. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Wait, you're...
I'm...
Oh, dear goodness! You're a Marechaussee hunter!
You recognize us? Ah, are you?
Yes, yes! Oh, I didn't expect you to actually come! Oh, what great news! The city is saved!
What happened here?
Alas, we once lived comfortable, carefree lives. This city used to be free of monsters. The first Marechaussee hunter, Casiodor, the Golden Hunter, he was the one who drove them back. However, monsters have once again surrounded the city. Perhaps the seal that kept them at bay has lost its power.
Are there not enough soldiers to drive them out?
It's not a question of numbers. The guards simply have no idea how to deal with them. Most people my age have never even seen one of the monsters, much less been trained to fight against them. What's worse, many of us don't even know the history. When I was a child, though, my grandfather would tell me stories about how the Marechaussee hunters drove back the monsters. So, on the off chance that something might come of it, I decided to reach out to you. To be perfectly honest, I was starting to think all those stories were just tall tales. But now that I've seen you in person, I finally know that it...
Well, you can rest easy, friend. The righteous and formidable Marechaussee hunters are on the case.
The man is touched by your determination and resolve. His eyes begin to well with tears of relief.
Still, if we are going to hunt the monsters, we need to know where to find them.
All I know is that the area outside the city is dangerous. I'm afraid I can't... Oh, although, if you leave the capital through the main gate and follow the road, you should run into a group of guards. They might know more about where to find the monsters.
Please let me leave the city. Please, just let me go face those monsters and end this.
I see. We'll go look for them then.
All right, be careful. Oh, and one last thing. The monsters outside the city are just part of the problem. There are evil. They're actively working with the monsters, and have corrupted the court ministers with malicious magic. Even one of our kindest ministers has turned into a boorish and unreasonable figure, interested in nothing but enacting laws that exploit the people. Who knows how much longer we'll be able to go on like this.
Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I feel bad for him. Maybe we should try to cheer him up?
Huh? Like,
I appreciate your kindness, but for now, it's more important to brave hunters. I leave the few.
If I understood correctly, there are currently 2 problems in the kingdom that need solving, right?
Exactly. We need to defeat the monsters outside the city and take down the evil sorcerer stirring up trouble from within.
But which problem should we tackle first?
Well, this seems like a good moment for a break. Take some time and discuss what you want to do.
I really didn't expect the people in the city to keep us at arm's length like that. I totally...
Well, Clorinde said the script took cues from the real history of Fontaine, right? Maybe the real-life Marushosei hunters were also...
I wouldn't say it's a perfect representation of history, but there are definitely some similarities. Would you like to hear more about it?
Sure. As long as it doesn't spoil anything in the script. You brought up bits and pieces.
Paimon wants to know too! The hunters were super powerful, right? Were they all from a special line of supernatural beings or something? Kinda like the yokai in Inazuma?
No. All Marashosei hunters were ordinary mortal fighters. The only thing that set them apart were the special sword techniques passed down over the centuries.
Huh? So you mean anyone could become a Marushosei?
In theory, yes. All you would need to do is survive the rigorous training and master the swordsmanship techniques required to fight the monsters. Still, most people dropped out at the early stages, and others called it quits the minute they saw a monster in person. To become a hunter, you must be strong in both body...
What kind of monsters did the hunters fight exactly? Oh, and the evil sorcerer the script mentions. Did they exist in real life too?
The land of Fontaine once played host to an ancient dynasty known as Remuria. After that dynasty fell, monsters began to appear, intent on obstructing humans from establishing a new social order. One of the ancient sorcerers of Remuria used his power to assemble a formidable army of golems. He sought to use that force to establish himself as king.
Now wait a second. Don't tell me that guy was the inspiration for the evil sorcerer in the script. We still haven't found any in-game information on him yet. So, why don't you talk about
Well, I wasn't planning on going into anything you might be able to find out in the game. But if you want me to talk about something else, then... How about Casiodor, the Golden Hunter? Or Egeria, the ex-Hydro Archon?
Wait, but those people are all from a super long time ago. Where did you learn all this, Claire?
From my master.
Huh. By master, you mean Miss Petronia?
Someone you know?
Absolutely. Miss Petronia and my father were good friends. Back in the day, she would often bring Clorinde over to play.
Let's not get off topic. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Responding to Egeria's call, a number of warriors followed Casiodor into battle against the monsters. This group of warriors, under Casiodor's leadership, became known as the Marashosei Hunters. Yet, as Fontaine entered an era of peace, their work gradually became obsolete.
Ah, I see. That explains why most of the people in the script have...
Is that really a bad thing, though? It can get tough always being the one shouldering everyone's expectations.
Depends on who you ask, I suppose. If the name of the organization no longer commands respect, investigative work is bound to suffer.
Speaking of investigations, which problem should we tackle first? Monsters or evil sorcerer?
I vote monsters. That's the main duty of the hunters, right? We can come back to the sorcerer later.
Well said, Miss Farina. Plus, if the sorcerers really are the masterminds behind this whole thing, defeating the monsters could give us some clues on their intentions as well.
What about you, partner? What do you think? I mean, you're not wrong. But those characters are usually the ones pulling the strings behind the scenes. More often than not, they're very formidable opponents. Going after them now might be jumping the gun a little bit. We don't want a total party kill on the first day, right? With Clorinde as the GM, I wouldn't rule out the possibility.
Let's jump the gun and just let's get this done.
Then it's settled.
All right. After some discussion, you decide to turn around.
Where is the action? Where is the action? It's all just sitting here and clicking, clicking, clicking. That's it. Where is the action? I hope so. We face some
Let's take a
monsters.
look around, like that guy said.
You there! Outsiders, halt!
Who's there?
An armored man approaches you. He has a tall, muscular build and a determined expression in his eyes. Although he's trying his best to conceal his current state, his uneven gait and the sweat dripping down his forehead. I'm the captain of the guard. I saw you sneaking around the city earlier, so I'll only ask this once. State your purpose, or it's off to the dungeons for the lot of you.
Wow, it's been a while since some...
I said talk, not whisper between yourselves.
Have you ever heard of...
Marachose hunters? Ha! That fairy tale, you mean? What, you expect me to believe you're one of them? While everyone is talking, you begin to carefully observe the captain's mannerisms. Every so often, you see him glance toward a particular direction, with a pained expression on his face. As you follow his gaze, you vaguely recall that the location he seems fixated on is known for its difficult terrain. Any battle that breaks out in a place like that is like...
Is that where the monsters are? Outside the forest in the area with the difficult terrain?
The captain is taken aback by your sudden question. You're looking to fight the monsters?
Well, we're Marachose hunters after all. You could say that's basically our job.
He shakes his head and continues to regard you with skepticism. In the end, he decides to inform you of the locations where the monsters have appeared. Those monsters aren't easy to deal with, but if you insist on going, I won't stop you either. I just hope all the guards will be able to come back to their families alive. I wish...
Based on what the captain said, the monster should be right up ahead. Let's
Okay.
go. Hopefully we're not too late.
As you approach the battlefield, you see numerous people lying by the side of the road. They appear to be dressed like guards. Their faces are filled with desperation and terror. Some are screaming and cursing in vain, as if still trying to banish the monstrosities they saw from their minds. A few of the wounded look up at you in shock and disbelief. Quick, leave this place. Turn around and don't look back, they yell.
This is the place he mentioned, right?
You see broken iron swords scattered all around you, and down all the signs point to one thing. A true...
Be on your guard, everyone. The monsters might...
Before you can finish your sentence, you hear rustling sounds from the surrounding bushes. The monsters have emerged. They close in on you without fear. You get the impression that, in their bloodthirsty eyes, you're just another meal for them to devour.
Or for me to devour them.
A little help here. This thing wants to eat my
Your battle round begins.
We're gonna fight them with cards?
Quick!
Here comes the finale.
The next battle round begins now.
And voila!
Time to shine! This one's got your name on it! Coming at ya!
The monsters let out a terrifying roar of anger and resentment before dissipating into thin air.
Oh, thank goodness it's over.
There you go, monsters.
We're lucky the Marashose Hunter class came with all those presets.
I never knew the photometer even determines the amount of damage you inflict.
That's part of the fun. The uncertainty of fate is...
Just as you begin to celebrate your victory, a suspicious lump on the ground catches your attention.
A suspicious lump. Wait, could it be the thing?
I walk up to it, crouch down, and begin to carefully examine it. I've still got my right glove on, so it should be fine for me to touch it, right?
As you investigate the mound, you discover that the exposed portion appears to be made of wood. It was previously obscured by the large With the monsters gone, the small protrusion now awaits your discovery.
Whoa, it's a treasure chest!
Yippee!
With everyone's help, you successfully excavate the wooden chest even without opening it. You can tell from the...
Makes sense. We worked hard for this. Let's open it. We can share what's inside.
I can understand your excitement, Paimon, but think about it. Doesn't it seem like there are people out there who need this
Yeah. Think about all the people suffering in the capital. Or all those guards who got hurt fighting the monsters. Wouldn't it be better if we gave the treasure to them?
Wait, is that how it works? Paimon thought since we were the ones...
Well, let's put it this way. Any decision you make during a role-playing game can...
But would the people really believe us? It's hard enough for us to prove we're Marashose hunters. What if they think we procured the treasure illegally? They might get even more suspicious of us.
Let's get those monster trophies, their heads, their limbs or something, and just take them back.
That's definitely something we should consider. Maybe we can come up...
Well, if donating it could cause that much trouble, why don't we use it to buy some gear and fill up on good food? Then...
Looks like you're facing a difficult choice once again. Well, it's getting late. Why don't we call it a day for now?
Wow! Where did the time go?
I'm not sure if it's because I'm having so much fun with you all, or because the story is particularly enticing.
Here, here.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that won't work for me either. Lynette will give me an earful if I get home to...
I understand how you feel, Navia, but we have to change venues for the next part of the story anyway.
Huh? Another location?
Mm-hmm. There's a special note for the GM at the end of this section that says to proceed to an indoor set for the next part of the script.
Whoa. They really pulled out all the stops for...
Well, even if we end the game for the day, we can still stay a little longer and hear Clorinde finish her story, right? Paimon wants to hear more about the history of the hunter.
Something tells me you just want to finish the free desserts before...
That's just a coincidence, okay? Besides, to Paimon, not finishing free food feels even worse than having to buy her own.
Paimon is just so cute.
And anyway, Paimon really does want to hear more about Clorinde's master.
Well...
It's nothing. I appreciate the concern, but it's all in the past. It won't do any harm to share these things now. My earliest memories are of living with Master. According to her, she saved me from certain people of ill repute. My birth parents had left me behind some time before that.
What a heavy beginning for a life story.
Master was a fascinating individual. My first ever toy was a short sword. Although I suppose it wasn't so much a toy as something Master removed from—
Oh wait, so she handed an actual sword to a child?
Of course I did. I cut my palm and bled quite a lot. But Master was not concerned. She just stood there and casually lectured me about— "See, that's what you get for not holding the sword properly," she told me. She then crouched down next to me and said, "Give me your hand. I'll teach you to bandage this wound. After that, it's time—"
Excuse me for asking this, Clorinde, but how old?
Probably around, 3, give or take.
A real sword? To 3-year-old? Man!
3? Isn't that when most kids are still struggling to hold a fork?
As I said, Master was rather inexperienced in the ways of raising children. She believed trial and error was the best way to teach a child what they're capable of.
At that age, the child doesn't know how to change his diaper. I mean, you're gonna give him a real sword? Dang.
I'm not so sure this is a question of experience.
I didn't see anything wrong with her ways at the time. And anyway, children don't get to choose how they're raised. Oh, she did bring me back a pet from Liyue once. It was a Geovishap hatchling.
A Geovishap hatchling? For a pet?
Yep.
That seems even
That's
more
what I was
dangerous.
thinking.
What she said was this: "Make sure to get along, you two. If you really can't agree on something, just settle it with a fight. Whoever loses is the real pet."
She had a really violent childhood.
And how old were you when this happened?
5.
Well, did you win?
No, I lost.
So you're saying you actually became the Geovishap's pet?
Yes, but only for a week. By the end of that week, I defeated it in combat, and we've shared a cordial relationship ever since.
5 years old? Really?
That really doesn't sound like the kind of childhood someone should have.
Later on, I gradually understood that Master most likely didn't know any other way to raise a child. She was a marechaussee hunter, but I never heard her bring up her own parents. Thanks to her, I learned how to navigate the forest by the age of 6, and could hunt monsters in the wild by myself the year after that.
Wow.
Even though the training she subjected me to was strict, she always made sure to take me traveling when she had the time. We met many of her friends during those days. That was also how I met Mr. Callis and his family.
And I thought Cinderella had it bad. Dang, Clorinde.
I still remember the first time we met. You were too scared to join our picnic and hid behind Ms. Petronia the whole time.
I still hadn't really met many children my age at that time, so I didn't know how to interact with others.
After that, though, you started coming over a lot. You loved challenging people to shooting competitions, remember?
I had a lot of fun during those days.
I enjoyed them too. Oh, do you remember that one time we went exploring around the Spina together? We overheard Papa call your master Fontaine's Protector of Justice. We tried to pretend like we never heard anything, but you nearly let it slip that one time.
Protector of Justice? Oh, wait, you mean that vigilante hero from 20 years ago? The one who is always active at night?
Yep, That would be her. She often would put on a black cloak.
20 years ago, huh? I still remember the guards leaving all kinds of witness reports about her on Nervalette's.
My apologies.
Oh, there's no need to apologize. You had nothing to do with it. Although, calling herself the Protector of Order was a bit much. Especially when she deliberately
Huh? When did the Protector of Justice become the Protector of Order?
Oh, she had a bunch of code names. I heard she would just come up with a name on the spot whenever she was at. Later on, she probably got sick of answering those questions and decided to stick to just two. The Protector of...
That sounds like her, all right. I bet she...
Well, she certainly sounds like a fascinating individual.
It's true. I always wanted to become like her. Someone powerful, independent.
But...
She suddenly disappeared the night I turned 10 years...
Disappeared? What happened?
I have no idea. That night, I was celebrating my birthday at Navia's house. But Master never came to pick me up. When she still didn't appear after a few days,
Papa probably didn't know either. I know he sent a few people to investigate them.
Don't worry, I understand. To be perfectly honest, given Master's personality, just like how, when a litter of kittens reaches a certain age... I was at first, but not anymore. I don't believe...
Well, despite everything, you still managed to follow in her footsteps and become the greatest champion duelist in all of Fontaine. You're practically a...
I suspect my position would be far too by the books for her.
Who knew Clorinde had such an interesting past? And I wonder... if Clorinde's master were the champion duelist back then... would that duel against Mr. Callus have gone differently? Oh no. Judging by the atmosphere, Clorinde and Navia are probably thinking something similar. The mood just got super awkward all of a sudden.
Well, anyway... Would you look at the time? It's getting dark, so we should probably call it a day for real this time. If we keep talking like this, we really will be here all night.
I had a great time today, Miss Clorinde. Thank you for being our GM.
Anytime.
The script was good, but I've got to say, your childhood stories were even better. Hey, you should tell us more about that fight against the Geo-Bishop sometime. Maybe...
You could be...
What does she mean, on to something? I certainly don't know any 5-year-olds who want to fight a bishop in their spare... Guess I'll head back as well. I need to save my energy if I want to continue enjoying the story tomorrow.
You're that excited to hear about my fight with the bishop?
I was talking about the script.
Five-year-old having a pet to Geo-Bishop? I mean, even I don't date, reluctant to deal with those things. They are so jumpy. They're so jumpy. I mean, this is dark. And this is really, really sad for she's had a really a violent childhood, and not something any child should go through. I mean, dang.
Every journey has its final day. Don't rush.
Guys, I'm gonna take a break here as well, I think. This is gonna be part 1. I'm gonna continue in part 2. We're gonna continue this story further. So stay tuned and subscribe. Keep watching. Bye for now.